The 2024 NFL Draft is less than a week away, and on this edition of Ravens Rundown, powered by Chat Sports, we are going to take a look at Dane Brugler of The Athletic's latest 7th-round mock draft for your Baltimore Ravens. We'll break down every pick, show you what Dane had to say, and more coming up on today's show. Tyler Jones here with you. Thanks for joining us. Let's set the scene for you before we show the picks from Dane here. The Ravens have a total of 9 selections in this year's draft. It begins at number 30 overall in the first round, a second-round pick at 62, a third-round pick at 93, followed by a fourth-round pick at 113, and another fourth-round pick at 130. Then they have a fifth-round pick at 165, followed by a sixth-round pick at 218, and 2 seventh-round picks at 228 and at 250. So, who do the Ravens take with their first pick at number 30 overall? Dane Brugler projects the Ravens selecting Jordan Morgan, offensive tackle from Arizona. Let's tell you about this selection, what Dane Brugler had to say. Considered a tackle by some teams and a guard by others, Morgan would provide immediate depth at both spots for the Ravens. He is well-schooled as both a run blocker and a pass protector, and has the athletic balance to match up against NFL defensive linemen. Now, here's the thing. We have talked about this on the program over the last, several days or so, is that the tackles in this year's draft are going up when it comes to draft boards, right? And there is a potential situation where the Ravens are sitting at 30 and all those top tackles are gone, whether it's Guyton or Mims or maybe even Morgan. If we're going to be honest, Morgan is probably the Ravens' last choice when it comes to tackles. So if they do end up selecting Jordan Morgan here, it kind of shows how desperate they are, because they rather have Mims. They rather have Guyton. But Jordan Morgan might not be a bad last option, if you will, for Baltimore if they end up doing so at 30. Morgan played for Arizona from 2019 to 2023. Was a first-team All-Pac-12 selection this past season. RIP to the Pac-12. Kuiper has him as the number 7 offensive tackle on his big board. The grades, according to PFF, for Jordan Morgan, we'll show you those accordingly here. You can see had a very good overall grade of an 84. Allowed just 2 sacks, 1 hit, 11 hurries, and 4 penalties were called on Morgan this past season. Let's go over the scouting report on Jordan Morgan now. Good bulk, thick frame, not THICC thick, but you get the idea. Strong hands and upper body. He's got a good burst, ease of movement. He ties up defenders through contact. Not afraid of that contact. The big knock on him is he is a bit heavy, choppy with his feet in pass protection. So, there's the pick for Baltimore at 30. Do you agree with our guy Dane Brugler here? Should the Ravens draft Jordan Morgan? Y for yes, N for no. Way in the comment section, tell us what you think. Today's show is sponsored by PrizePicks. PrizePicks, the place to go for daily fantasy made easy. Here's how it works. You choose 2 or more players on any given category. Get the choice of more or less. Maybe it's goals in hockey, home runs in baseball, maybe we're looking at rebounds in basketball. Maybe you want to look ahead to the start of the NFL season. As I'm predicting, Lamar's going to have more than 3,600.5 passing yards, and DK Metcalf is going to have more than 1,025.5 receiving yards. Let's say I put $20 down and both those hit. That's going to turn into $60 on PrizePicks. Play along with me. PrizePicks.com/CLNS. Promo code CLNS for a $100 deposit match on your first entry. The link is in the comments and description of today's video. PrizePicks, proud partner of a Ravens Rundown by Chat Sports. Glad to have them on board. Check them out today. You'll be glad you did. So we go to the 62nd selection now, and the Ravens pick up a wide receiver. This time it is Xavier Legette out of South Carolina. And I got to say, I like seeing the Ravens address both the tackle and the wideout position right away. There's been much debate over the last few weeks. What should the Ravens do with their first-round pick? Should they go tackle? Should they go receiver? Most folks are thinking the tackle spot, right? But you can't wait too long at the receiver position. In this case, the first 2 selections, they take care of both, which is very good here. More on Xavier Legette. Played at South Carolina from 2019 to 2023. Was most recently a second-team All-Southeastern Conference selection. And Mel has him as the number 6 wideout on his big board. He's coming off the best season of his college career, where last year he had 71 catches, over 1,200 yards. How about this? Yards per catch, near 18 yards a reception last year and 7 touchdowns. He would be a nice complement to Zay Flowers. Zay Flowers more of the possession receiver. Xavier Legette would be able to get downfield and help out in the vertical passing game. The scouting report on Legette, great size and build. He certainly looks the part. Very good with the contested catch ability, above average long speed, a strong downhill mover. He does have some poor footwork, though. So our first 2 picks don't necessarily have the best feet, so don't tell Rex Ryan that, but you get the idea. Let's move ahead to the 93rd pick. And the Ravens go safety, taking care of another need with this pick. They go with Malik Mustafa, the safety out of Wake Forest. We might as well call him the Lion King with that pick there at 93. Then at 113, taking care of another position of need, this time going corner from Oregon, Kyrie Jackson at 113. So far, very needs heavy, taking care of tackle, wide receiver, safety, and corner with these picks by the Baltimore Ravens. More to come here on Ravens Rundown in a moment, but first, who's a player the Baltimore Ravens should draft? Weigh in the comment section, let us know what you think. For the best Ravens coverage you won't find anywhere else, you got to subscribe to Ravens Rundown as we are getting you all squared away for the NFL Draft with daily news and rumors. We're going to be bringing you breakdowns of all the picks as they happen next week. We are your draft and offseason headquarters here on Ravens Rundown. Subscribe now and never miss a moment. YouTube.com/RavensTV. Lock us in. Best part about it, 100% free. Subscribe now and you'll be glad you did. All right. This is one of the more intriguing picks of the Ravens mock draft here from Dane Brugler, as he has Baltimore selecting Mo Kamara, the edge rusher from Colorado State, with the 130th pick. Here's more from Brugler. The Ravens have high hopes. Shout out Panic at the Disco. For previous early round picks, Odafe Oweh and David Ojabo, but they will likely draft more pass rush help at some point in the first 4 rounds, trying to replace Jadeveon Clowney, right? Although undersized, Kamara is relentless and has disruptive potential as a sub-package rusher. This is one of my favorite kind of sneaky good finds in this draft, a guy like Kamara here. I think he's got the potential to really excel in this Ravens defense and immediately be a rotational pass rusher in this group. And we've seen nobody is better in the National Football League about developing pass rushers and getting the most out of them than the Baltimore Ravens are. You look at his draft profile. He was at Colorado from 2019 to 2023. He was named the Mountain West Conference's Defensive Player of the Year, first team all-conference selection last year. And you talk about value, Mel has him as the number 5 outside linebacker on his big board. The numbers last season, you can see he got better every single season he was with the Rams. 1.5 sacks all the way back in 2020, 6.5 in 2021, 8.5 in 2022, and last year was just a beast with 13 total sacks and 17 tackles for loss. The scouting report on Kamara, times up snaps well, good rip move to win around the edge. And this is somebody that has a relentless motor, high motor guy. You always love to hear that. Good leverage at the point of attack. He does have some length issues, a bit short and lacks that ideal length there. So, what do you guys think about Mo Kamara? Should the Ravens draft him? D for draft, P for pass. Weigh in, tell us what you think. All right, let's get to the final 4 selections for the Ravens. At 165, they go offensive guard, another lineman, as Matt Goncalves from Pittsburgh gets the pick at 165. 218, the Ravens go linebacker as they're trying to replace Patrick Queen, and they go with Maris Lefau, the linebacker from Notre Dame. At 228, staying home in the state of Maryland is Tahit Talib Still, the corner from Maryland at 228. And then the Ravens round out the draft at 250 with Iowa defensive lineman Logan Lee. So what do you think? How did Dane Brugler do with this mock draft? Grade it for me, A, B, C, D, or F in that comment section. I'll give my grade here in just a second, but I want to hear from you guys first. Weigh in, tell us what you think. I'm going to go A- here with this draft. Look, I'll say this. Jordan Morgan's not my favorite offensive tackle. I would like to get Guyton, or I'd like to get Mims, but we settled on Jordan here, Jordan Morgan. So that's not ideal, but we still took care of business, right? I like the pick of Xavier Legette at the wide receiver spot. I really like Mo Kamara as well. Overall, this is a solid draft that I'm not going to complain about if this is what the Ravens end up doing. To recap, Jordan Morgan at 30, Xavier Legette at 62, Malik Mustafa, the safety from Wake Forest at 93, Kyrie Jackson, corner from Oregon at 113, Mohamed Kamara, the edge rusher from Colorado State at 130, then Matt Goncalves, the offensive guard from Pitt at 165, Marist Liofu, the linebacker from Notre Dame at 218, Tarheeb Still, the corner from Maryland at 228, and rounding out the draft, Logan Lee, defensive lineman from Iowa. If you enjoyed today's show, you need to make sure to subscribe now and lock us in for continuing draft coverage. Going to be a busy week next week here on the channel. Subscribe now for free, and we will see you next week for the 2024 NFL Draft right here on Ravens Rundown.